How's it going, YouTube? Convention today with another video, and today, guys, with the brand new is going to be yummy combos. Today we're going to be talking about the different things that you can do with the deck, different starters, different ways that you can play, looking at some gameplay as far as going through your combo and what you should keep in mind. We're going to be looking at my updated current list, and then talking a little bit more about the deck. If you haven't already checked out my sponsors over in RW, Cloud, Gem, Arla, Imperium, Dragonshield, and Grimoire, definitely go ahead and do so all down below in the description. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more educational content. I want to keep all of you up to date as possible, and there's going to be a lot to talk about with Justice Hunters. So, without further ado, let's hop right on in to the first slide. So, the first thing we have are the main deck monsters. So, I have all of them pointing to Arborea because they work just like Arborea. One of the starters you play in the deck is Sangan, and that is a very cool card because we used to do the same thing with Arborea. You would just go Sangan, link 1, summon out the Arborea, and then go into Hulk, which was always a pretty crazy combo all in itself. When you use the Synchro on your opponent's turn to summon these out of your graveyard, we'll get a Destruction if it's summoned off the Synchro, and then the Lollipop will get the DD Crow effect off the Synchro, which is pretty cool. A lot of interruption alongside the second field spell, which allows you to have a Destruction as well. The Cupsy just on summon will get a Search, which is really nice. This will get you like the Surprise, which is a really solid card. But these are all really fire. They're all really, really good because of the fact that you can utilize these to put up a lot of interruption, even though they don't seem like they can do a whole lot. They really can. The deck is very explosive, and a lot of it is on your opponent's turn. And the board looks very minimal, but what it can do after is pretty crazy. These are the Synchros. I just paired them with cards so that you can easily remember what they do. The Yummy Way is a monster reborn for 2. The Cupsy Yummy Way is going to be the Stratos, and the Cookie is going to be the Book of Moon. So, Book of Moon is pretty common amongst archetypes now. There's always going to be like some kind of boss monster that can like Book of Moon. We've been seeing so many cards, especially even like in the White Forest deck. This is a very common theme. Book of Moon just continues to be a really crazy effect, right? So, we have a Monster Reborn, a Stratos, and a Book of Moon within the Synchros that when your opponent activates effect, you can always tag out into 2 of your yummy monsters and then start synchroing off on your opponent's turn. You really can't say Link 1 without saying broken. And, you know, Link 1s in the game have historically just been really crazy. This is no different. So this card is Yummy Snatchy. This card says when it's special summoned, you can place a Yummy field spell. So you're going to place the first one that allows you to reborn. And then on your opponent's turn, you're going to activate the one that will allow you to get a Destruction. That card is also pretty solid. And then you cannot link summon link 3 or higher monsters for the rest of the turn after you do this, which is fine because we don't really play anything too large. But once we're chained during the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can pay 100 and then Synchro summon, which is pretty crazy because of the fact that it just gives you a lot of utility to be able to play around whatever your opponent's trying to do, and you can pass on a seemingly powerless board, but you start summoning some pretty crazy cards. The next thing I want to show you is going to be my list that's updated right now. This is not by any means a final list, so don't take it as that. Take it as a building block into your own list, but I did cut Obedience School. I didn't like it. I think that it can be really solid, but the Beast Lock is definitely something that I am not a fan of. I was hanging out with my friend Anthony in Discord, and we were both talking about it, and I was like, oh, you're crazy for not playing that card. And then I started really playing the deck, and I was like, oh, like, I don't know. I don't really like that lock. And, you know, it's really awkward, too, because, like, if you're already playing 1-card combos, which I'm going to show you 1-card combos, not just, like, a discard combo, because I'll show you one of those as well, but I'm going to show you a lot of 1-card combos, like true 1-card combos. And I feel like if you're doing a true 1-card combo, you're already playing around Nib, because as long as you keep, like, Cookie or Lollipop in hand that you haven't used, the second they nib you, you just make Link Spider, summon out of your hand, and, like, keep going, right? So there's always going to be other things that you can do, so I don't really feel like this is that bad into Rock either. I think playing cards like Thrust is really important because there's going to be a lot of turn 0 plays from both players this format, so cards like Thrust are going to be really important. Cards like Droplet are going to be really important. I haven't really found room for Droplet yet, but that's a card that I also want to play. Maybe it's in the sideboard over like Dark Ruler, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of times where that card's like pretty okay, especially against like the Yummy End board. I think that it's like really okay. Obviously, Surprise is going to be a card, but there's still going to be enough interactions shut off by Dark Ruler where I think that it's pretty good for the deck. But let's go ahead and talk about the actual replays themselves. I think that the striker cards are just like the most heavily agreed upon for being in this deck, and just one engage alone is very much so just full combo. So you're going to go engage into drone, drone into link 1, then link 1 bring back the Hornet drone, summon a token, and then go into your Cup C Yummy Way, go into your Cup C, and either of the other names, it doesn't matter, discard the other name that's not Cup C. Cup C, go ahead and add Cookie, and then here you're going to go into your link 1, which is Snatchy, get to your field spell effect, bring back 1, and then use those 2 to go into the Lollipop Yummy Way. This card is going to be your mini soul charge, right? So now you're going to go into your Metal Marcher, and then Metal Marcher here is going to bring back the 2, and then you're going to go right into your Herald, summon out the Cookie from your hand, and then go into IP. So now this is very versatile. There's a lot of ways that you can do this. Instead of going into IP here, because you're just using these 2, you can always summon the Star Ham, and then if you have other cards in your hand, which you will, since this is just a true 1-card combo, if you want to summon double Herald, you can here. You can just use both of these, go into Star Ham, pitch a card, and then you're going to be able to go into double Herald of the Arclight, which is really crazy. That's just another line here, on top of having things like your Cups Yummy Way on board to interact with your opponent on their turn, and then your new field spell that'll come out with the other Snatchy hitting the board during your opponent's turn. So definitely a lot of pretty crazy interruption. But let's talk about the next combo here, which is going to be a Yummy plus a discard. So here, we're just going to start pretty normal. We're going to get to our field spell. Field spell is going to reborn our card here and then go into the Cups Yummy Way. And then we're going to go add 2 bodies, but instead of pitching one of the bodies, we're just going to pitch the discard here, which is pretty standard. Go ahead and grab Surprise, which is fine. And then go, instead of using your level 1, you're going to use the Synchro 2 to go into your Snatchy. And then we're going to use both of those and then go into your Lollipop Way here. And then go back into your Metal Marcher, bring out, and then you're going to go into your Herald and then use the other Synchro 2 into Snatchy. So now we're passing on the link 1, the interruption-based Synchro 2. You're going to have the Herald and the Surprise, which is pretty solid. And a lot of these are going to be very straightforward. A lot of them are going to look a lot similar to each other, but they are different in their own regard. And you'll kind of see that as we go over the next 2. So Sangan is one of my favorite ways to start this combo off, to be honest, just because of the fact that if you already have a Yummy in your hand, or if you have like Engage, then you can just summon the Sangan and grab Troll, Ash, Bell, Crow, whatever it is that you want. You can just grab it, and that's insane because of the fact that, like, going into your opponent's turn, you just have, like, your full combo on top of, like, the one hand trap that just, like, FTKs your opponent, right? So I think Sangan's very cool. You want to make sure you don't grab Cup C, though, because you want to make sure that you can use that effect, because Sangan says that you can't use the effects of the card that you add. Since they work like Arborea, you just kind of summon them anyway. But here we're going to go into our Synchro. Then it's going to be basically the same noodle soup that we've seen the entire time this video so far. And it's just different ways to get there. So you're going to go into your Link 1, get Field Spell, go into the other Synchro 2, bring 2 back. Go into your Metal Marcher, go into your Herald, your Link 1, and your spell. And this last one here is kind of like my own homebrew. I think that this is really interesting. But you can go Dark Beckoning Beast, go into your Opening of the Spirit Gates, get Chaos Summoning Beast, go into your Almirage, go into your Synchro 2, and then again, this is going to be very reminiscent of what we've already seen. But I think that it is really cool to note the fact that you can go ahead and reborn with the Opening of the Spirit Gates as well. So, of course, you're going to have a bunch of other cards in your hand, so you're going to have more ways to extend off this combo as well, which I think is very cool, because effectively it's the same thing, but if you have, like, dead cards in your hand and you want another body to even go into, like, the Star Ham plays, then you can, just because of the fact that you have the additional bodies to do so. So I do think that those apply a lot of pressure, especially if you want to play like Yummy Fiendsmith. I think that the Dark Beckoning Beast engine is the best way to bridge that, just because it's multiple bodies for free, like actually just free, right? So that's something that I find really cool. And the second that you have like a Requiem on the board, you can always go ahead and start committing like your yummy monsters to the board, just because the second you use the Requiem, start going off into like Caesar and what have you, you still have your opportunity to extend even further. And I think that there's a lot of potential in a build like this, where especially you're getting so many free bodies back to the board with things like opening. I hope they enjoyed today's video, and if you did, definitely go ahead and check out my Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, and definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you enjoy content like this, definitely let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you all so much.